communism, or the creations of communism, because in essence they are one and the same thing. Those old people, the old monarchs, used the religious terminology for themselves and declared openly that they were gods, so they should be followed in everything. They have the right to dictate things to others. They have the right to be followed, and that's all. They were more honest. But the modern gods are not honest with you. They claim the same things. They believe the same things. They want you to follow them and pursue you without any right on your part to change their philosophy, to change their way of life. And they think that they are the supreme on earth. You have no right to deviate from the path they have laid down and carved for you. But they don't call themselves God. And they call gods as imagination of mankind, while they themselves are their own imagination. This is the reason why the Holy Quran has been laying so much emphasis on the negation of false gods. And the Holy Quran, as I have just quoted from about Surah Hadhrat, as early as that, from the time of Noah, makes it very clear to mankind that you will not live without God. Whether you believe in God or not, that is your destiny. You cannot live without God. So we warn you, come to the right one or you will go to the wrong ones. Either accept Him or you will follow others which will ultimately destroy you, because they are not capable of playing gods. They are not gods. They lack those perfections, that deeper knowledge, that excellence of character and quality which pertains to God alone and none else. So that is why such emphasis is laid against idol worshipping. It is not just a matter of thing of the past. Don't consider the idol worshipping of bowing before some statue. That is only an older model. The modern models are different. They should be recognized by you. So following the path of prophets, we have come to understand these things, as the Holy Quran, Surah Fatiha led us to. Ihdina siratal mustaqim, siratal lazina anamta alayhim. The second emphasis the prophets have been laying on is a better relationship between man and man, and establishment of an order of justice, and an absolute justice for that matter. Not to usurp others' rights, not to exploit others' weaknesses. In this regard, again, it reminds us of communism. Their God also speaks about the same things. That also reminds us that the ultimate purpose of my orders is to create a better society in which man will live happily in relationship to other men, and in which there would be no exploitation, and the rights of each one will be preserved and safeguarded, and no one would be permitted to take anything beyond his right. This is the essence of communism. And strangely enough, this also is the essence of all religions, though differently approached. But as far as the claim is concerned, it is the same. So communism is a religion. It should be understood as a religion. And those who say that Islam can live in reconciliation with communism, we can worship God as we please and follow communism as they please, this is not possible. If you change gods, then it is possible only to follow the other God. But you can't worship two gods at one and the same time and follow them to the pleasure of both. So this is, although the subject matter is the same, authority is acquired by communism in the name of man, virtually the authority which belongs to God. And the subject is discussed in the same way which is the subject of discussed by religions. What should be the best relationship between man and man? What are the obligations? What are the rights? Where the limitations begin and where they end, and so on and so forth. But in communism there is no absolute teaching of morality. That is the one difference which is between the communist religion and godly religion in general. Morality is not found at all anywhere. No mention is being made, no reference is being made to morality. Why this total lack? When we further study the teachings of the prophets, then we begin to understand gradually why this total lack of morality in communism and so much emphasis upon morality in religion. That is the distinctive feature between the two. The first reference to this teaching of human relationship is found in Surah Maryam, where Hadhrat Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam is mentioned to have told his progeny, his family members, that Allah tells us about him that he used to emphasize not only on worship of God but on zakat. Yamuru ahlahu bis salate was zakate. Zakat is the right of the less fortunate ones, the have-nots, in your property. So as I said, this is the very core of the subject matter in communism. The very core of discussion in communism. Are there have-nots and those who have more than their rights? If so, what should be the answer to this problem? The prophets all, without fail, without exception, mentioned the word zakat in their teachings to the mankind regarding financial affairs and financial relationships. And the Holy Quran tells us elsewhere that right from the first prophet till the end, ibadah and zakat have been the consistent subject of discussion with the prophets. And this is the common link between all prophets of all times, everywhere on earth. So this is a very important subject. Now if we learn from prophets how to worship God to the exclusion of others, and if we learn the art of paying zakat, what zakat is and how it should be paid, two means of gaining Allah's favor, two most important means of gaining Allah's favor will be available to us, will become accessible to us. So that is why it is essential to study the life history of prophets in the light of the Holy Quran's accounts of the prophets. It will go on expanding this subject gradually as we proceed. There are so many prophets mentioned in with the same subject. I am leaving them for a while, to emphasize this point. I'll come to those verses now which further elaborate this subject. Now we come to Hadhrat Shuaib, the prophet who was sent to Madian. He addresses his people and says, "O my people, Abdullah malakum min ilahin ghayro, The same words, in fact, in reality, which have been uttered before by earlier prophets and other prophets following him. Worship God, and God alone, that is in parenthesis. Malakum min ilahin ghayruhu, there is no God but He. For you. Qad ja'atkum bayyinatun min rabbikum, Allah has shown